Yeah, why is it that the policy of software across the universe is fix it till it's broke? Not kidding. Oh, just like they've done with Facebook, just like they've done with Zoom, just like they've done, like, let's just keep, it's the software's working perfectly. Let's make it better till it don't work anymore.
Yay!
You bastards. Okay, let's get to the main subject matter. Let's talk about Justice League Dark. Bringing back one of our favorite characters, unfortunately, who was stripped of his TV title, or his live action, because he's on the CW in a series of animated shorts, apparently. But this one definitely takes a little tall walk down the dark side, as in the supernatural things that those high and mighty superheroes cannot handle from the very bowels of their nightmares. And speaking of bowels, who really got a laugh out of the shit demon that came out of the toilet?
Somebody, the Dogma fan.
Yeah, that's exactly. That reminded me straight of the Golgothan right out of Dog. I'm like, what? Okay, but let's get into it. Let's get your guys' thoughts on it. All right, let's start with, just for the hell of it, let's do the same thing we've been doing. Let's just go ahead and introduce yourself and go right into your opening thoughts. So let's start off with AJ.
Hi, guys. How are you? I didn't like the look of Superman or Wonder Woman in this. I thought the costumes were stupid, especially with the collar for Superman. Why does he need a collar? Is he going to wear a tie with his suit? Anyway.
Well, I know if you want to know, because he was played by the fat kid from Stand By Me. They had to hide his neck thing. I don't know.
Rebecca Romaine, bitches.
Anyway, yeah. I didn't mind this story. It was actually quite good. It was good to see the other side of the Justice League without, the main people with the, all the powers and all that, and seeing the mystical side of the DC universe, which was quite cool. I thought it was a very Doctor Strange-esque. I mean, I don't know which came first, Constantine or Doctor Strange, but either way, they're both good. And this is quite good. You're muted, Freedom.
Can't hear you, Freedom.
Let's move on to Daniel Chambers, a.k.a. Nightwing, who has been on a long time. What's up, Nightwing?
Yeah, it has been a while. But my opening thoughts were it was amazing. It was, like AJ said, it was great to see a different side of the DC universe. It was also quite cool to see in the space between Justice League versus Teen Titans and Justice League Dark, we got several new leaguers, but not, an explanation of why. But maybe that will come in the future, and obviously it wasn't needed for this, but it was cool to see, characters that some I didn't know that well, and some, that I did that were made even better for me just through this this movie.
Okay. All righty. So, sorry. Moving on. Let's go to William.
Hey, how you doing, everybody? When we saw the trailer a while ago about this Justice League Dark being made, I was very hooked because the comic series only lasted 40 issues due to the fact that when it appeared it was the New 52, and when it was canceled it was because DC decided to do a rebirth and they didn't want to add them in it. And at the same time, Constantine was canceled because the rumor was that one or two characters was going to appear in his show, and it didn't happen. But of course, in the like in the comics, the animated movie had some characters that only appeared a little bit in the comic books, which didn't matter because every character there either studied or was created because of magic. We know Constantine is such an a-hole that almost everybody he runs into wants to punches him in the face, or don't want to talk to him no more because he has a reputation of being a user, especially to Lady Santana. So we know that about that. The only thing that was it took me a while to figure out was Black Orchid. She was the character that was inside the House of Mystery. Because the way Constantine said it, that she is the House of Mystery created her for she could look around the house like that. She's not the character that's in the comics as a superhero. It just appears like her. So maybe if they could do another follow up, maybe the real Black Orchid could show up. Deadman, the voice was a little weird for me to get used to like that because of the actor the actor's voice didn't sound like, because in the comics that his origin is almost the same, that he was a circus acrobat that was shot. But the problem is they made it sound like that he was such a womanizer, that's why he got shot, when in reality he was shot by somebody that wanted to join Ra's al Ghul League of Assassins. So that they didn't touch on that because they would have to deal with Ra's al Ghul, so they didn't want it, so they changed it. The Swamp Thing was great in this. Of course, the way they describe it is the way he first appeared in the comics, that they thought that Alec Holland was changed, the chemicals changed him into the Swamp Thing, which later on in the comics is revealed that is not the case. That in reality is the swamp thinking itself is a man, that made itself look like a man and thought he was Alec Holland, while Alex Holland's body was in the bottom of the swamp. So, so again, maybe later on they could touch on that, but this by itself was great. While my favorite character, of course, it has to be Etrigan the Demon, because I'm a big Jack Kirby fan. And the origin is, even though the origin changes a little bit from the comics, because in reality, Jason Bullock was part of King Arthur's knights, and he betrayed them, and that's why the demon was part of his punishment for that. So for this animated movie, his origin it stood out real great. And what happened to him at the end of the movie, it was really sad, especially the way the demon Etrigan felt that he lost a brother at the end there. I mean, we're gonna talk more about other stuff like that, but this really stood out. This is funny, an animated movie that catches my attention from the first minute all the way to the end. Unlike some of the live action DC movies have been putting out, and that's a little bit of a shame, because DC has 2 live movies coming out this year, and I'm like, gee, don't tell me that the animated is gonna end up, which is made at a lower budget, and the live action is having a better script. So we wait to find out during the year how they stands out. But this movie really stood out, and I hope they do more of it.
Yeah, it does seem to me like DC has always done better on television and with their animated movies than they have with their full action, full length feature films. Like let us not remember Green Lantern. Oh man!
And you notice in this movie, Green Lantern appeared, it was Jon Stewart, not Hal Jordan.
Yeah. Okay, Beefhead, you're up next.
Yes, hello, Beef here. Wobble up a dub dub. I enjoyed this. There are a lot of characters in this that I'm actually not as familiar with, and yeah, you have to do this because Batman, he don't do magic. Unless he can puzzle it out, unless it can be hit in the face, it's sort of the rest of the Justice League are defunct to a certain degree. So it's good to do something that is like, something unfamiliar territory, and you have this introduction of all these new characters. I'm not as well versed in all of them. I've passing acquaintances with some of them. I think actually in the comics, Batman and Swamp Thing have met, and he was actually one of the few characters who actually bested Batman. Mm-hmm. But it was good. It was solid. I enjoyed it. There was a nice twist to the story. Okay, there was some cheesy dialogue. Don't get me wrong. You have to have that, and you were sort of like, there was a Star Trek Nick sort of, why does God need a force field? You had Hellraiser. I will tear your soul apart. Yeah, there were a couple of Nicks, but that got a pass in my book. Batman, I did like. Deadman, I thought was good as well. I liked the comedy aspect to him. Etrigan and his rhyming pentameter. Okay, that's fine. It was funny for a while, but yeah. If anything, the one thing that did come across from this was that Constantine was actually very, very good. To be honest with you, he doesn't play well with others. Generally, he's disliked. He doesn't really care. And the person who's the most powerful, Zatanna, I'd love to know more about why she can't use her powers as much, but yeah, there's obviously a caveat with her that she can't go too far. She can't do what it is. So you do, if anything, it gives you more interest to learn about this, and Batman always shines because Batman just kicks ass, doesn't he, really? Even he's the real guy amongst a bunch of gods in the Justice League day to day, completely outmatched, but he can still hold his own against magic because he can still use science. Yeah. So stay in school, kids. Remember to learn your science, yeah?
Yeah, plus the fact they got Matt Ryan back as Constantine. It just, after he did the one season, the show that only lasted one season, unfortunately, it's just he did that role so well. He nailed it so well that they keep calling him back to say, look, we want you to come back and reprise the role again. And I guess he's doing that as a series of shorts on the CW coming up. I think, was it next year or is it this year?
Probably the fall. Probably the fall.
Yeah, fall. And so he's really, really nailed that role so well. They keep coming, ask him to come back to it. So, okay, speaking of that, someone who really loved his character, Matt Ryan as the character Constantine. All right, go ahead, Philip.
This was fantastic. It was brilliant from the get-go. I'm so drawn by Matt Ryan's characterization of Constantine because he's got this down-to-earth personality. He's in some senses, you'll see words like, yeah, wanker, down here. And it's like, what? You can't. Some blokes don't do wankers in cartoons, but he does it. It's brilliant. And I did like the battle in the House of Faust when they're all sort of trying to get that magician man. That was a good little battle scene played out there. I did like the beginnings of Etrick, whatever his name is, with Merlin and how that came about. That was nicely played out. I wasn't so keen on Swamp Thing. I think he was a little bit underused to a certain level until he had to face that bigger demon man, but he was kind of easily beaten then. That was quite disappointing. And correct me if I'm wrong, William, is Satana, did she used to be a romantic entanglement to Constantine?
The way it figured out that because her father's a famous magician, he used her to get certain things, and rumor has it that he's the one that took her virginity.
Oh, okay. That makes
so he's
sense,
a hymen buster. Oh, there you go.
Also, she popped up in the Batman the Animated Series for an episode or two, didn't she?
Yeah, because her father taught Batman how to escape from handcuffs and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And she also appeared in the Justice League Unlimited cartoon. Again, a continuation of it all.
Yeah.
She appeared in an episode where Wonder Woman got turned into a pig or something.
Well, so he.
And I didn't realise that the House of Mystery was able to travel from one place to another. Is that an established thing, or is that just something for the actual movie?
No, in the comic. That's the House of Mystery. It was originally two houses. There's a House of Mystery and a House of Secrets, and the two original caretakers is Cain and Abel. So we know them from the Bible. So what happened later on? I think that either they passed away or something like that, and John Constantine got the House of Mystery from cheating a poker game. So that's he's the new caretaker of the house. But the house is alive. It's alive. So.
Cool. Well, that's all I've got to say. It's a brilliant show, and I really and I would like to see more of that in animated form. And if not, bring him back to TV, please, for God's sake. But there you go.
Okay, Graham, go on ahead.
How we doing, guys? Much like my buddy the Beefhead there, I'm not well versed in these supernatural side teams of the Justice League, but I enjoyed the hell out of this. As touched upon earlier, DC tend to do a hell of a lot better with their TV shows and their animated stuff, and what the hell, you're hooked for the get-go. What movie opens with a chick hallucinating and running everybody out in the bloody street? You're like, really? Mass murder galore, just because this poor chick's hallucinating. Going in, all right, Swamp Thing, if I'd one issue there, maybe a wee bit marry him, but I can understand why it was somewhat a cameo role considering the scope of the character. Great to have Matt Ryan back. The humour between him and Deadman and the bits of profanity, we'll call it, chucked in there. I really enjoyed that, just for a bit of adult humour. Stay in school, kiddies. What else did we have? Zatanna, I'm really interested to know if there's is there a bit of history between her and Faust? Because it looked as if she really wanted to rip him apart during this movie, man.
From what it really Faust and her father. Remember, her father was a great sorcerer. So and they fought many times. Remember, because you can tell that Faust is much older than he is because he uses magic to stay alive. Yeah. So I forgot. I don't know. I know he might have heard him or something like that. But you got to remember also that Zatanna using magic by talking backwards. She talks backwards. She didn't use like saying throwing hellfire, not that like what you saw Constantine doing. It's because Constantine uses a lot of black magic. So what happened when the moment Santana untied that statue that was keeping her from talking, it activated the dark magic that she has within her and made her more darker. And that's why Constantine had a
that reminds me of Phoenix.
Well, but that's Marvel. But you gotta remember in the world of DC Comics, there's no such thing as good magic or bad magic. It's magic.
Yeah, it's how you use it. Yeah.
It's how you use it. But most of it is dark magic.
Yeah. So no, I'd be interested to learn more about that. As well, sort of filling in some of the blanks there. As I say, Dead Man. All right, one or two he's had an issue with the voice, but I thought it was fine. Jason Blood. What can you say? I like the backstory, how Merlin fused them together, albeit it was amended slightly according to Will. And much like Beef, Etrigan the Demon, the rhyming was funny at first, but then it got a bit repetitive. But I didn't mind the wee eulogy thing at the end next to the tombstone. That was fine. And just in closing, I always get a wee bit tetchy and a wee bit unsettled whenever Kevin Conroy isn't voicing Batman in any of these, but huge praise to Jason O'Mara in this, man. He done a bang up job, and there was just times where he looked pissed off, didn't want to be there, going, why am I helping these guys out, but I'll do it anyway. So huge props there, and I enjoyed the hell out of this. Go watch it, kids.
Well, it's R-rated, so maybe not necessarily the kids.
Well, okay, kid. Well, those who were kids 10 years ago, go watch it. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Lady Neo.
Well, I just finished watching it, and it's dark. It's dark.
That's on the title.
It is darker than any cartoon I have ever seen. I mean, it's been a while since I've actually seen, like, what do you call it, Batman animated series, the Superman one, any cartoons. I'm calling them cartoons. I don't care what anybody says. Now, I'm looking at Justice League Dark thinking, okay, here's Superman, here's Wonder Woman, okay, here we go, there's Batman, blah, blah, blah. But then that first few moments when she's up there knocking those people down, I thought they were going to, they're just injured. No, they're dead. They're dead. That's like, oh, well, wait a minute. This is different. This is different. Okay. Oh, she jumped off the building. Oh, okay. Wow. Yeah. Oh, wow. And I just said, I got to keep watching. And I kept watching, and then the puns came, especially the poo creature.
What a load of shit.
Awesome. It was a creature. I hope it wasn't a demon. That's what it was. But overall, as a team, that team works because, what was it, Batman was in that with them? I don't think I could see Wonder Woman or anybody else in that with them because they would ask stupid stuff, do stupid questions, stuff like that. But it worked. He was there when he needed to be. So overall, this is really good. If they do a continuation of it, I would like to see it. It would be kind of weird to see Constantine with the Justice League, but we'll see.
I know, wouldn't it? Oh, geez. You don't exactly dress formally for the meetings. Oh, okay, Susan, you're up next.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of this before this cast was announced. It was amazing. I mean, it reminded me a lot of Blood Plus, the anime, with the Chioptera. All the creatures, all the evil guys looked like the Chioptera in Blood Plus, and it was amazing. I wore my superhero shirt today because it was super amazing, supernatural superheroes, and it was gory, it was gross, it was fun, it was interesting. I enjoyed watching the creatures. I enjoyed watching the way that the the Dark Justice League work together. I love that interplay. The dead guy walking in and out of other people, that was really fun. And so there was a lot of good stuff in it. I really enjoyed it. So, yeah. Thanks for asking.
I have a quick one. Sorry, I'm just curious. How well has Deadman ever hopped into somebody when they're hopping on the good foot and doing the bad thing?
Say that again.
What?
I said, do you think Deadman's ever hopped into possessed somebody when they're hopping on the good foot and doing the bad thing?
Oh,
I know what you mean. No, remember, but he could go through walls and all that, so he could see people before he jumps into their body.
You never know, man. It could be one drunk night, you know.
It hasn't happened, but that's a possibility.
Go.
But it is kind of interesting because it seems like since The Killing Joke, they're really throwing out these R-rated type features now, that are tuned more towards the adult fans than they are, the younger ones. And it's kind of, it's kind of nice to see something, a little bit darker, a little bit more, disturbing, especially when you have all the primary guys in the Justice League, Meanwhile, back at the Hall of Justice, they can't do a damn thing because this is outside their purview.
And Aquaman's back in those bloody gay orange and green tights. No, thank you.
What's wrong with green and orange?
They clash.
Oh, you would that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, this wasn't Look at My Muscles, Momoa. This was, the original Aquaman. I'm like, oh, God.
They couldn't do a damn piece of thing, man. Oh, man.
Yeah, are you going to deflect the asteroid coming at the planet? Really? I don't think so. Yeah, you can't send a shark out to take out a demon, especially when the demon doesn't go in the water. Okay, it just don't work.
Yeah.
I always felt kind of bad for Aquaman because he was like useless as hell. But now he's not because he can control the seas like Poseidon. Oh gosh. So okay, like I said, very dark, disturbing scenes. Like especially when you had Superman show up in that house, and the guy's sitting there holding his family at gunpoint because he thinks they're demons, and then he goes, but then it gets even worse because after all this finally gets resolved, he goes, go look in the back shed if you're not sure. Look at my neighbors, and there's these bodies like hanging up on the.
I don't know, at least 10 bodies.
Yeah, he'd whacked the whole neighborhood like our Mr. Rogers going psycho.
That's Texas Chainsaw man up on the hooks.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. It's a beautiful day for them.
Oh, hey there, neighbor.
I have a high caliber shotgun for you. Oh, man. Like, did you at least bake him a casserole before you showed up? But just really dark and disturbing. Okay, floor is wide open, so.
Well, because we all know how much a douche Constantine is to everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, and it was funny. He was the main character of this film. But notice that in the House of Mystery, he has a lot of magical items kept there. In one corner, he had Dr. Fate's helmet. And then that big ruby that was used in this main story. And he had other stuff that stood out, but I can't. It won't pop in my head right now. All that stuff appeared in other comics and stuff like that.
I have to admit, I did like the twist where Richie supposedly on his deathbed sent him after Faust, and it turns out he was the bad guy all along.
But he was on his deathbed. He was dying because you saw those deaths.
Yeah. I know. Obviously, he messed with the Dreamstone or the Gemstone, whatever the hell it was. But then he ended up with obviously the Destiny thing. So.
Yeah, I like that. I got magical cancer, and you got away scot-free. We've touched on how sort of like the opening scenes are very harrowing and very adult.
Yeah.
But there is a certain amount of black humour that does run through this, that does sort of underplay it, but it helps to carry it along. And like Brian said, it's very much like jokes for the adults as well.
Yeah.
It's sort of when she goes to Batman and says, you're this amazing patchwork of anger and darkness that whole consumes your life. How do you cope with it?
I have a butler.
I have a butler. Yeah, when they're playing cards with the three demons and everything like that, and there's the joke about well, can you hurry up and get this along? Yeah, we've got David Copperfield coming up, and he's a real classy guy. We really like Copperfield. There's some really good jokes for adults in there, and that's that is sometimes the strength of what these animated movies are.
It needs that comedy.
They balance it so well.
Yes, it does. Like the part where those, I don't know what they are. I would call them Reapers, I guess.
Correct.
Oh, yeah. The race.
Around Batman. And he said it was so vexed. He said, boo.
It must be
that sort of like race scene when they're dragging that guy to hell, basically. That also reminded me of that movie, Ghost.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it brought back to my memory. I thought, okay.
Yeah. Big Jack Flack in 1990.
Well, you got to remember, he was going to die. They had to take him.
Yeah.
But you have with that as well, you still have this sort of pathos, sort of drama to it as well, as Destiny sort of taking apart everyone. To be honest with you, he's separating Swamp Thing, and you see him roll a tear because there's that human element to him, and that's separated and taken apart.
Yeah.
Now that you mentioned that was one of my wee major gripes. Swamp Thing gets ripped apart, the body falls to the ground, and you never hear from him again. What happened to the body?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It was like in the Wile E. Coyote cartoons. It was like a puff of smoke, and that was it.
Yeah. That was my only wee gripe, man. That the body just felt, and you're going, all right, well, just leaving it there. All right, you bother.
Honestly, I thought Swamp Thing was going to have more time on because obviously he played up as a big part of the movie.
No, he wasn't.
Well, no, in the promotional stuff, he was he was on the
in the trailers and all that.
That was a 1 minute trailer.
Honestly, I thought he should have had more time, and then obviously the Justice League would have allowed, if they'd all not died. I mean, obviously there's going to be a casualty of the whole event. But, both Jason Blood died, and then Swamp Thing. I mean, technically he couldn't. He can't.
He's not dead. He went back to the ground. He's part of the Green.
Yeah.
Remember, he's not Alec Holland. He's the Green. That's different.
Yeah.
Yeah, but hang on. Separating Swamp Thing from his that human creature element thing, wouldn't that totally destroy him? Even if he went on the ground?
No, because remember, Swamp Thing thinks that he's Alec Holland, and that's who he is. That's as for him having that body inside him, that was a shock to me. That never happened before in the comics. That never happened in the comics. That never happened. But he thinks he's Alec Holland, so when Alec Holland was pulled out of him, you could say that his humanity was gone. So he went back to the green. He went back to the ground, to the green. As what Graham said, what happened to the body? They never mentioned it after that.
Basically, sorry.
No, I was just going to say those 1980s live action movies are looking a lot more freaky now.
Another thing I wanted to ask: wasn't Swamp Thing originally a villain?
No,
I don't think he ever was.
I'm sure I've seen him somewhere where he was a villain.
You're not getting him mixed up with Clayface, are you?
I know
Clayface. I've seen him in all the.
There was a story on when Swamp Thing was attacking the cities because they were destroying, they were poisoning the environment. So he was attacking. And then the Justice League. So the Justice League tried to take him down, but he took care of the Justice League easily. So
Okay, what were you trying to say, AJ?
I was going to say, technically, Swamp Thing is like a force of nature. You really can't destroy him. He's just...
Yeah, you could say, we say he's part of the Green, but he's an elemental. He's an elemental.
Yeah. And also, when he calls himself the Defender of Green, does that mean he's the Defender of Weed?
You better ask Molly Nelson.
It's a funny joke. As a joke, in one of the issues, Swamp Thing made a big blunt for John Constantine.
Oh, when was that?
It wasn't in the comics. It was when Alan Moore was writing them.
Oh, man.
There you go.
Sorry. You go first. Anyone else disturbed by the fact that we don't find out what happens to those people from the beginning of the movie at the end of the movie, like whether they get help or they're just thrown asunder into jail and that's it?
Well, it's hard to prove that they were being controlled like that.
They mentioned
Constantine good.
they mentioned at the beginning in the week that they were law-abiding citizens.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe they went to a shrink.
No, unfortunately, they've all been thrown in the wacko basket with Ashy Slashy.
Yeah. There you go. And just in a wee side note, even though we never saw much of them, Superman and Wonder Woman and whatnot. Wonder Woman, voiced by Rosanna Dawson.
Rosario.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Mhm.
So yeah.
But it worked.
Yeah.
That worked though. I like how we didn't see much of Superman and Wonder Woman or Green Lantern or Aquaman. I'm glad we didn't see much of them because it wasn't about them. It was about the other Justice League team.
You're damn right. We never saw a forming Wonder Woman. I hated that costume.
It would be weird because Wonder Woman would probably ask those crazy questions or just spout off something about her, Cersei or all that mess.
Being a feminist. Yeah.
Well, he's just Superman.
See, I have got one little problem with those movies, is that I believe Shazam's only been in one.
You mean Shazam? I think he's been in 2. I have to say maybe 2.
Speaking, maybe 2 with a cameo.
He was in War and Gods and Monsters, I think. He was in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was in Monsters. I remember
that always confuses me. Shazam, Captain Marvel.
They're one of the same.
Yeah.
Well, they're not the same because Marvel owns Captain Marvel.
That's the thing, yeah.
They're basically the same character in 2 different comics.
Yeah.
And yes, you may make fun of Jerry O'Connell as Superman, but remember, yes, he is banging Rebecca Romaine.
Oh, please don't remind me of that, man. Yeah.
Yes, the fat kid from Stand By Me. Yes.
Eat your pie, Lardass. Eat your pie.
That geeky ass from Sliders. Yeah, that guy.
What I do like about this, movies is, though, the voice cast is always very solid. I mean, a lot of the ones who do the principal Justice League characters, they've done them in other movies prior to this. And the fortunate thing about this is, the House of Mouse doesn't care too much about the animated movies. They don't pay too much heedance to it because you do have people who have, who cross the floor, who work in both houses. Like you said, Rosario Dawson, the guy who does the voice of Batman, he's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. now.
Jason O'Mara.
You've got a lot of people with feet in both camps, luckily, but it doesn't stop them doing this. And, it was nice to hear Alfred Molina showing up as the villain. If you want a really good villain,
Destiny.
Get an English guy to do it, boys and girls. Yeah. No, it's not the first time he's done an evil wizard, I know, but we don't like to talk about the Sorcerer's Apprentice, really.
Oh, please, no.
How about Doc Ock? He was Doc Ock, wasn't he?
What?
It wasn't
Spider-Man 2.
Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
Oh, was it? Oh, was that the guy that done Doc Ock? Oh, okay.
Alfred Molina, that was it. That's right. I had completely forgot about that.
That was probably the best at the trilogy of me too. Oh well, there you go.
Okay, so also I did love the scene where I think it was Black Orchid walked up to Batman and started going on and on about him, like how do you deal with it, blah blah blah. I have a butler.
I shoot him.
That's true. And how can you not love a movie that ends with somebody walking into the house and you've got a nice purple chick handing you a pint? Fantastic. Yeah.
We don't want this to turn into another Manchester.
Yeah, exactly. Or Newcastle. Yeah.
Plus Boston getting on with the ghost house. So
that's one question I've been wanting to ask, because I don't know, maybe my memory's a bit fuzzy because it's been a while since I watched it. But didn't they talk about what was the one you just mentioned? Not Manchester, but what do you call
Newcastle?
Didn't they mention Newcastle also in the live action series?
Yeah.
Because did they ever really go into what happened in Newcastle ever? Or anywhere, William? Or
I don't remember. I gotta check on that.
No, I don't think they do. They do in the comic though.
Tingling at the back of my mind, even since the freaking live action series. What the hell did he do?
I don't know, but no one ever wants to.
My guess is her.
Well, Constantine been all over the place. A lot of people remember him, so they want to really get their hands on him. Then again, he does owe a lot of.
He's got a lot of debt to people.
He got a lot of debt in a couple of pubs.
Newcastle and Manchester had huge concert and rave rave parties in their heyday. So that's probably what they're referring to, is these big, huge parties that are sort of shouted out to at this thing.
Must have been a hell of a party.
I've read the first couple of issues of the original Constantine comics from the 80s, and there was a thing where they had a cult sort of thing happening, and they were using black magic to. There was a whole thing going on. Basically, he was like sacrificing certain people and whatnot.
Just basically not giving a fuck.
Yeah, but just like for his own gain, sort of thing. He was messing around with dark magic, from what I remember reading.
Okay, so either way, very, very interesting movie. Like I said, definitely a different take on the Justice League, universe. Something new, something refreshing. Something that definitely just went from everybody, let's go back to the Hall of Justice and have cookies and pie.
Fuck that shit.
Yeah, let's go back to the house and have a pint.
Meanwhile, in the House of Mysteries.
Meanwhile. So either way, I guess a really good movie. Now let's rate this sucker and we'll put it to bed, shall we? All right, we'll start down at the bottom this time. Let's start with Susan. Out of 10, how do you rate Justice League Dark?
Whoa, starting with me. Okay. I guess I'll give it an 8.5 because it was new to me in so many different ways, and I didn't know much about any of the characters, but it was a cool movie.
Okay, Lady Neo.
I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. It's been a while since I've seen any animated stuff. I saw Zatanna again, Dead Man. I was like, oh, wow, everybody's here. So I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. I liked it. I want more of it.
All right, Graham?
I'm going to give this a 9. I would have gave it a 10 had I been a bit more well-versed in the source material, but really, really interesting. Batshit crazy in places. Really enjoyed it. And I want to know more about Zatanna. Why not? Great movie, guys. Cool wins.
Okay, Philip?
Well, I love it because of Cotton, because he's my favourite sort of like character in that kind of universe, and because of him, and because of everybody else in the movie had to do and play role within the movie structure itself. It's always going to get a 10 out of 10 for me, and I want to see more of it, and I hope they do.
Okay, Beef?
It's a solid 8. I don't think it's necessarily the best DC movie, but it's good and it gives you a good introduction to the characters and makes you want to know more about it. Okay, there are some sexist wizards who don't want women to talk. I can understand that.
Make me a sandwich. Yeah,
I've seen some interesting cosplays of Zatanna. Nice. But yeah, that's it. I've got to say they translated Constantine really well to an animated medium as well. I like the idea that he's a dick and will quite happily throw anyone under the bus, but still wants to go for a drink afterwards. I can relate.
Yes, me too.
I can relate to that. Yeah. Solid 8, mate. Yeah, I'd like to see more of it. Hopefully, maybe a bit of a longer story next time, because this is
that's true. Agreed.
It's still a lot of the short side and tied up very quickly by the end of it, which is a shame. Maybe they could have stretched it out a bit longer.
Another 15 minutes, would you say, Beef?
15, 20, yeah, I'm not fussy.
Okay, William.
I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. Anything that has Jack Kirby's demon inside the House of Mystery, it gets my great respect. But I would wish very much to do a sequel, because there's a lot of evil magical characters in the DC universe, and we could get more to see more of Constantine and Zatanna, and maybe some of the other ones that was not used, like the Phantom Stranger and stuff like that. So maybe they could do a sequel. Like Beef said, it'll be a little bit longer than this one. So, but I still give it a 9 out of 10.
Okay, Nightwing.
I'm going to give it a 9. I mean, there's a couple of things I maybe want to learn a bit more about, maybe to get to know some of the characters a bit better. I mean, I knew a little bit of Deadman. Etrigan and Zatanna probably, and Constantine were probably the ones I was most familiar with through, either animated, live action, or elsewhere. maybe I'd like to know a bit more about the characters, and maybe, like I said, like the others said, that it could be a bit longer.
I'm going to tell Batman you said that.
Wow. Yeah, we're not talking no, like I said, it was good. I'm going to give it a 9.
All right, AJ.
Yeah, I'm going to give this one a 10. I agree. It could be a little bit longer, but I mean, anything that just Constantine flicking the V's in animation is pretty good. So
Yeah.
8 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 9 also. I really enjoyed it. Like I said, I'm not a huge comic book guy. Most of what I do know about comic book characters and all that came off animated movies, animated series, and stuff like that, movies and whatnot. And so it's nice to get a different take on the DC universe, that definitely goes away from, okay, the guys in the pretty flashy suits are going to show up and save the day. And it's like, okay, what happens when they can't? All right. Something they can't really fight. It was nice seeing guys like Superman, like Wonder Woman, all that, okay, they're completely out of their depth for a change. No matter how much powers you have, you can't deal with this shit. Okay, it's way too out of your league, So it's kind of nice to see that, a whole different take on it. Okay, and always, everyone remember, yes, David Copperfield has real power because he's owned a string of islands out there, and he also dated Claudia Schiffer.
Wow.
And he made a deal with Lucifer.
Would that not make him David Copperfield?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Well, he's got a woman in a box. I mean, a box.
She can pull a rabbit out of my hat any day. Yeah. Oh, well.
Okay.
Stephen Price has got women in boxes.
Yes.
There's a piece
Of the Oriental variety. Yeah.
Yeah, but are you including the ones that are still locked in the dungeon alive? Okay.
Please let me out, Mr. Steve. I know tell.
Mr. Steven, please let me out. Okay.
We're all in so much trouble.
I know.
The pictures are flowing.
Yeah, Graham better remember Easter is coming. And okay, next week. All right, we're going to take a little wander back into the Doctor Who land because, as we all know, Peter Capaldi has announced he's leaving the show. And everyone and their grandmother is now out there going, I want the role. I want the role. I even think I saw a freaking article from Prince Charles going, I want the role. It's
well, he's not going to be king. He may as well take the role.
Danny Dyer from EastEnders goes, I want the role. It's like, come on. It's like that's going to happen. So this is what I want you to do. We're going to play a game called Pick 3. What I want you to do is this. I want you to pick one, and a number of people, and it's going to be off your wish list. Actor, actress, and you can pick more than one. Just wish list. Someone, that probably doesn't have a snowball chance in hell of getting it, but you'd like to see in the role. Okay, the middle one, the realistic candidate, of the available people who are out there and who could possibly get it, who do you think will land it? Because there's a whole line of actors and actresses out there who are available right now. Hell, Chris Marshall's looking for a job, for crying out loud. And so, you can even pick him if you want, because it is realistically possible. And then lastly, I want you to pick the worst fucking dumpster fire of an actor, actress that you to put into the TARDIS. I'm talking Carrot Top is open. I'm talking
Nick Cage.
Yahoo Serious. Pick the worst actor or actress that you think they could pick to be on the show in the role as the Doctor. And as a bonus question, and remember, this is extra credit. You don't have to do this. Assuming that Michelle Gomez is going out with Moffat, who would you pick to play the Master?
In a dress.
So this is a big assignment. You got 1 week. Get to it.
If there's something no one has bested me at, it's homework. Yeah.
While you're at the gym. All righty. So until next week, everybody, take care. Enjoy the rest of this week. Have a good one. And see you on the...
Bye-bye. Oh, that was fun.